Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your May 2019 mid-month general readings. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Welcome to any newcomers, first-timers, and welcome back to any followers and subscribers. And thank you for taking the time to tune in and for sending in all of your support, feedback, and comments. And always a big thank you to all of my clients out there, regular and new, for keeping me so wonderfully and joyfully occupied with personal one-on-one readings. Always an honor and a pleasure. Thank you. As many of you who follow me know, if you are interested in a personal reading with me, live or recorded, you can get more info and contact details by clicking on the description link below or going to my YouTube channel's homepage and clicking on the About button there. Please feel free to email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I would be most delighted to work with you. I can usually respond to your initial inquiry within the first 24 hours, and setting up the actual readings is pretty timely too. I do readings full-time, 6 days a week. It is all that I do. So I'm pretty diligent at working with your schedule in mind to get readings out as quickly as possible. And I do a wide variety of readings in all areas of life. So email me if you're interested. We'll go from there. Okay, let's move right into this reading. This is for the air sign of Gemini, our beautiful twins, for the remainder of May 2019. As many of you know, general readings always resonate a little differently for everybody. So if you know your rising sign, moon sign, Venus sign, watch those as well. They can be quite helpful. Okay, Gemini, let's see what's in store for you for the remainder of May 2019. Okay, Gemini, we begin with the Queen of Cups, followed by the Page of Swords, next to that we have Strength, followed by the Six of Pentacles in reverse, and from the bottom of the deck, your overall energy for the remainder of May is the Nine of Swords. Forewarned is forearmed. That's why we do these readings. So I'd like to see this energy lessened for you ahead of time. It's a card that represents a lot of stress, anxiety, worry, fear, usually fear of the future, fear of things not playing out right. What am I going to do? What if this happens? What if this doesn't happen? Always fearing the worst possible outcome. Circular thinking, obsessive thinking, kind of your mind chewing on itself like a dog chases its own tail, insomnia, nightmares, being stressed out. Now, the source of your concern might be quite valid, but the Nine of Swords usually comes up when you're making it worse in your head than is actually reflected in the reality of the situation. Swords is air energy, and that's all about what goes on up in our head. So this is, you know, belief systems, ideologies, the messages we give ourselves, truth, insight, enlightenment. It's just mental, cerebral, intellectual energy. So this is your mind getting the better of you and thinking about something way too much, way too obsessively in too negative a way. This is a similar theme to several other mid-month readings I've done, I think for different elemental signs, but it's somewhat similar. We have the Queen of Cups and the Page of Swords. And I feel like the Queen of Cups, although for some of you it might be another person that's significant in this situation, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio energy, Sun, Moon, or Rising. I think Scorpio and maybe even Cancer had a similar reading, but I feel like this is kind of your energy. Cups is emotional energy, and in the tarot, the element which governs the suit of cups is water, mercurial fluid water, which represents our emotions, because our emotions and our emotional landscape is also very mercurial and fluid too. The kings and queens represent individuals who have mastered their suit. So they've reached the top of self-mastery and self-discipline and control and balance over the character traits inherent to their suit. For the Queen of Cups, it's over emotions. She is very emotionally sensitive, both to her own emotions and the emotions of others. But being a queen, she has learned through life experiences how to manage those and balance those and deal with those while being able to access them too. She is also very emotionally in tune. She is also very intuitive and spiritual, or at least very intuitive, in touch with her own feelings and source. The only one more intuitive and spiritual than the Queen of Cups is the High Priestess. This is a card that represents touching base with your own feelings and checking in on what they are as well. And it's clarified by the Page of Swords. Pages can represent young people, messages, messengers. They can represent people who are just starting out at something, student, apprenticeship energy, no matter what your age is, because pages are just starting out, so they can represent being at the beginning of something. It's swords energy here. I mean, this can represent the Page of Swords. Sometimes he can represent someone being very persnickety or cocky with how they speak because they're young, they're youthful, they're just starting out. Young people often, think they know more than they do. We all do when we start out, I think the majority of us. But the Page of Swords, one of the aspects of the air energy of swords is that it's also about truth and enlightenment and illumination. And the Page of Swords can often represent somebody, no matter their age, who is in a situation where they're unsure of what to say or how to say it. Sometimes this can represent finding yourself in an ethical or moral dilemma and feeling like you need to speak the truth, but maybe being nervous about doing it. Maybe it goes against the person that you might be saying it to, or a group of people. Standing up when everybody else is going one way and saying, no, this isn't right. We need to be going the other way, or I need to be going the other way, or speaking up in a moral or ethical dilemma of some kind. Here I'm feeling that a lot of the stress, anxiety, and worry, Gemini, is about your reluctance or resistance or difficulty in saying something. And I feel like it might be because you're afraid of what the consequences of speaking that truth will be. I think probably too, some of you may be afraid of saying something that might hurt somebody else's feelings if you say it, or if you say it in the wrong way, or that if you do, it might produce an ending of some kind. And it's a very specific message I'm getting. I feel like even though I feel like you are the Queen of Cups, and as an air sign, even though the Queen of Cups is a water sign, even though you're normally a very good communicator, I feel like your emotions, your feelings are part of what's putting you in this dilemma of being unsure and uncertain of whether to speak up and how to speak up, because of what may happen because of this. We have strength and the Six of Pentacles in reverse next to that. Strength is about facing your fears, your doubts, your insecurities, wrestling with your demon self, maybe facing bad habits or bad patterns that you have. Or if you're, as the Queen of Cups, she's so emotionally in tune with other people that sometimes she's afraid of coming across too harsh, so she keeps quiet sometimes when she needs to speak up. Maybe you have a habit of doing that, and now that it's time that you face whatever fears you have about actually speaking your truth and actually do speak up. Break your own patterns. It's clarified by the Six of Pentacles in reverse. Now in the upright position, this is a card of equality, mutual giving, mutual receiving, mutually beneficial relationships or situations, getting equally compensated for what you do, mutual respect, mutual love, etc. In the reverse, it represents an imbalance in something. In a relationship or a collaboration, or even at work, it can represent that one person is giving more than they're receiving, taking more than they're giving. So it could be, Gemini, that you are involved in a relationship or partnership or even work situation or project. You may be giving more than you're receiving, but you're afraid to speak up about it. You could also be on the other end of this. You could be taking more than you're giving, and you need to face up to that and speak up about it. Although I feel like for more of you, it's the first explanation. And again, it feels like you are afraid to speak up about this inequality. It might be about a situation that you're on the outside of, or speaking up about another person or another situation as well. There's this fear and reluctance about doing so, and there's a lot of stress and anxiety about it. Let's see if we can pull some clarifying cards and see exactly what this is. What is this imbalance or inequality about? We have the Knight of Cups, an emotional love offer or offer of support and encouragement coming in rather quickly. The Knight of Cups, this is so similar to some of the other mid-month readings I've had. He comes in hot and heavy. He's very sincere. He completely believes in what he's saying, what he's offering. But sometimes this Knight of Cups has a challenge of getting caught up in emotions and committing himself or promising something that in the light of the next day when everybody has to get up and go to work, he can't quite follow through with because the emotions have died down. That is sometimes the challenge. So it looks like there is an offer or opportunity coming in. That may be what has you stressed out. We have the Two of Cups after that. So it does look like a relationship of some kind, and probably a personal one. It could be a love romance relationship. It could be a best friend or a really close partnership. The Knight of Wands coming in hot and heavy. Again, two knights, very fast moving. It feels like, Gemini, someone or you may be rushing in to make an offer of some kind. Of love, of encouragement, of renewal even. I had one or two other mid-month readings similar to this for other signs, although it was coming back for an apology or a second chance or a reconciliation. It may be that for some of you. I feel like you're being given, or you feel like there's a limited amount of time you have in which to make up your mind about this. And there's a lot of stress, anxiety, and worry. It feels like there's some imbalance in this relationship or partnership, but you're afraid to speak up about it or speak up any further about it because you're afraid that if you do this or do this one more time, that it might provoke an end, or it might be that you have to turn down this offer or turn away this offer or keep it on hold indefinitely. That's kind of what I'm getting. Strength here is also a card of advice, Gemini. Whatever decision you make, speak up, and don't allow fear to be the thing that makes the decision for you. Let me pull one final advice or guidance card about this. Another knight, the Knight of Pentacles. Advice and guidance. This knight is also about moving forward. All of the knights are, but out of all four of the knights, the Knight of Pentacles is the slowest because he's governed by the element of earth. This is a forward moving energy because it's a knight, but it's also a slow moving energy. It's a card about taking a step, checking things out, covering every details, not rushing ahead. He's slower than all three of his other brother knights because he's more cautious. He's more detail oriented. He wants to make sure that when he gets to the end, he's covered everything that he needs to. So I think for many of you, you may choose to move forward, but do it cautiously. Do it step by step. Don't rush into this. And if this is an offer about a relationship or an emotional situation of some kind, if you're being asked to make a rush decision, that should tell you something right there. That's kind of a bit of a red flag. I think that you need to take your time on this one. So Gemini, that pretty much wraps up your May 2019 mid-month reading. I hope you found it helpful and useful. If you are interested in a personal reading, particularly if this resonated for you, please feel free to contact me directly at Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I do a lot of different types of reading: love and romance, compatibility charting, career, work and finance, investment, personal gift readings, and I also do 6 and 12-month overviews, which take a look at what's coming in your life over the next 6 or 12 months, depending on how far ahead you want to look. I don't usually like to look much further ahead than a year because there's too many variables. And you can also find me on the smartphone app Instantgo under Irish Gypsy. That link is also provided. And that's really good for quick answers to the quick, simple questions. So a variety of things to choose from. If you're interested, I would be delighted to hear from you. I will see you all again in a couple of weeks for the June 2019 general readings. And as always, Gemini, until then, I wish you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy life. Take care, and I hope to see you back here again soon. Bye-bye.